of course. Oh, you just lucked out. Now, of course, it gets to their next battle. And, of course, our lucky lady Splenda steps up. And, of course, Daz is like, hey. I mean, of course, you don't gotta worry about that and all that. But Daz steps up onto the floor. And it's like, are you ready to get dazzled? And she's like, me and Splendid are spontaneous and splendid. Of course, and he's like, time to send out the secret weapon. Of course, Pidgey. Man, boom. Pidgey comes out again. Of course, this Pidgey comes out way more happier. And flies around more happier. And of course, Splendid sitting there, happy and dancing. So of course, it's like a contest perfect show duo, which it ends up being. But we'll try to hopefully get there sometime. So of course, Pidgey's defense goes down. Then of course she tells her to do sand attack. She says do bubble after the tail whip. And of course she gets to hit her and land her bubble. It's much easier from a distance. Pidgey's definitely jolly still and still moving around though. So of course she's like sand attack. You know what I mean? He's like can't let her hit. Of course she tries to do tackle with Splendid. She's like, man, because she missed that time. Of course, she's like sitting there thinking in her mind, like we're not gonna be able to hit Daz if he keeps using sand attack. So she's like, Splendid, focus and use bubble. Concentrate and use bubble. Of course, he's like sand attack. You know what I mean? He's starting to try to get lethal while he's doing the pretty boy. And she tries to focus, but the extra sand attack makes her miss. So of course she's just like, tail whip, stop it from hitting you. Of course he's like, sand attack. Of course she's just throwing the sand in her face. And of course she tries to do tail whip, but she can't see because of all the sand attacks so far. He's like, sand attack again. Of course he does sand attack again. Accuracy is going down. She's like, bubble. You know what I mean? Just continuously trying to take him down. He does tackle, of course, and she's like, bubble. Of course, the tackle knocks down some sand out of Splendid's eyes, and Splendid kind of gets a directive sense of direction where the Pidgey is, and does bubble and hits it a bit. So she's like, trying to lower the speed. Of course, he's like, tackle. Of course, it hits the tackle. I think it's one of the kids that are in the teen section. And of course, he hits the tackle, but this time, of course, he's like, dodge. She's like, bubble. You mean hit it with bubble again off the tackle? And then, of course, he's like, dodge it. And of course, the Pidgey's all happy and just dodges it. Makes it much harder, and boom, his tackle. And of course, he tries to bubble. And of course, this Pidgey's just moving around, happy and jolly, just moving around, dodging these attacks. Now, what ends up happening is she's like, oh man, so Splendid's exhausting, and everybody's like, you know what I mean? Spot's like, use your potion. Of course, she shows us her potion. Of course, Splendid's not as fully held, so of course she doesn't get healed all the way. And then the tackle hits, and she's like, still like, lower the speed. But in this same sense, also in the instance when Splendid was exhausted, everybody was looking, and Taz is like, that Pidgey's dangerous with Daz. And everybody's like, why? And she was like, with Daz's jolly nature, you know what I mean? because it's splendid, Like with Daz's jolly nature, his Pidgey is unpredictable because it's happy when it's attacking, and everybody's like, huh. So boom, 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 all that happens and all that. So she's trying to do bubble and all that stuff in this dodge, and it hits. Of course, it hits the tackle, and it does a good deal of damage, and it exhausts. So she's like, "We might not be able to take it down." Tail whip. Of course, she does like tackle, boom. So of course, she tries to do tail whip and all that. Tackle, boom, it's down and all that. So of course, she tries it again, and boom. She just tries to do bubble one more time while Splendid was exhausted, and Splendid goes down. So she's like, "Go, Prime. You can do it." Prime's out, but he's exhausted for real. And then he's like, looking, he's like, "This is your last Pokemon. What are you gonna do about that?" And of course, she's like, "Prime will do just fine." And she's like, "Here's a potion." Of course, he heals him. He's like, "Tackle." Does the tackle, and Prime is immediately exhausted. And she's like, "Huh." So then she's just like, "Prime." She's like, "You scratch." Of course, he's like, "Tackle." Boom. Prime goes down. And of course, she loses. And he's like, "Pidgey, come back." Yeah. Am I great or what? You know what I mean? Dad's like, "I don't know, yeah, am I great or what?" Now, it's much interesting because he says it to her, and of course, they're like compatible as twins. So, it's like he's trying to impress her, but she takes it as hurtful. So, of course, this time it's surprising, it's shocking, and then it's like, you know what I mean? Taz just looks at her, grabs her shoulder, and is like, "One of us had to lose." And he's like, "Good job." He looks at that. He looks at Daz. "Good job." And he's like, "You know it." He's like, "I got us, bro." Type ordeal. So then, of course, he looks at Spleefa, and he's like, "Are you ready?" And she's like, "I'm ready." And then, of course, he looks at Maz. "Let's go. You ready, man?" And Maz is like, "Yeah, yeah." Happy that he actually acknowledges him, because he's one of the grandsons that actually looks up to him, but he doesn't get enough attention, and that's why he's down a lot. So of course, that's how it goes. So of course, forget all the wording and all that stuff, and of course they step onto the battlefield and step on their places on the stage. So of course, Maz sends out Pidgey. It's like, "Time to send out the secret weapon." And of course, she's like, "Secret weapon, let's go, Leafa." Now, of course, in this instant, Leafa is exhausted a bit from her last ordeal, of course, with Lift. Of course, Lift, out of nowhere, though, this is vital anyway. With her being down and exhausted anyway, her seeing this Pidgey, her overgrow kicks in immediately in the battle in the beginning, off rip. So, you see overgrow kick in immediately. Of course, he tackles her. And of course, her tackle doesn't do that much damage. And of course, she just says out of nowhere to her secret weapon, to him saying the secret weapon, he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's all excited. He's like, "Yeah, I got a secret weapon too. My secret weapon's gonna take down her Bulbasaur also. And it's gonna be, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna even have to use my Charmander." And of course, she's just like, "No, it's not." She's like, "Sorry, Leafa, return." And of course, everybody's like, "Return?" And she's like, "Go Lift." Boom. Out of nowhere, boom. And his Lift comes out. and of course, um, it catches Taz's attention. He's like, Sparrow. Lifts out, of course, and of course he does tackle with his Pidgey, and of course his Pidgey does a hard hit. Now the level doesn't matter, of course. It's the strength that's happening. So of course she's like, good job, Lift, from taking that hit. Of course he's looking at her like, you know what I mean? He's kind of shocked because he just came out to getting hit. But she's like, I'll heal you. She's like, don't worry, Lift, I'll heal you. And she heals him. And then he's back to normal. And of course, it's like tackle. Gets hit a good bit. And of course, she's like, growl. He's like, tackle. Does tackle again. And Lift's exhausted. But he gets the growl off. And of course, Pidgey's attack is down. And she's like, I'm not having this. And she's like, I'll heal you again, Lift. And she heals him again. And he's like, you know what I mean? And of course, Maz is like, no fair. She used the potion twice. And then does tackle again. And of course, he's like Taz looks at him like there's no rules in a Pokemon battle. And of course, she's like, yeah. She's like, Lift, use peck. Of course, she's like, tackle. Boom. But before the peck can even happen, critical hit. Lift goes down. He's like, yeah, secret weapon. Secret weapon. So of course, she tried to tackle with Leafa again. Of course, Leafa's exhausted. And he's just looking at her, and he's shy about it, but... And she's like, don't worry, Leafa, I can heal you. Tess is just like, you might as well not even re-heal her. You're not going to win this one. And it actually gets in her mind, and she's like, she's depressed, and she's like, growl. She's growl. And boom, she goes down next. Okay? And of course, for once, Matt says, "Please come back." He's like, am I great or what? Like, he says it more calmly, like, shyfully. And of course, he's like, yeah, you did good. And he's like, Spoof. I was like, Spoof, don't let these losses get to you. And man, you're still important to us all. He's like, good job, everybody. He's like, I must get going. And then, of course, he's like, Pokemon League has a whole bunch of tough trainers. I have to get past them somehow. And then, boom. You know what I mean? So it's like less, more grimy. And of course, as it will be, I'm saving it on this route. I have to go to work, so we'll see each other again on the next episode. As we all end up walking through this route and we head up to Pokemon League front gate. The Pokemon League front gate, I should say, hey? Haha! I'll also see you guys later. And ladies later. Didn't forget y'all.